Dzień dobry Państwu, witamy ze strefy Wprost podczas pierwszego dnia Europejskiego Kongresu Gospodarczego. Ze mną mój pierwszy gość w studiu, pan Jörn-Erik Mantz, prezes zarządu EON Energy Infrastructure Solutions Polska. Now we need to switch into English because my guest is an English speaker. So let me introduce you one more time. Jörn-Erik Mantz, the CEO of EON Energy Infrastructure Solutions Poland, is here with me. Good morning, sir. Good morning. You're right after the debate, Green and Warm, when you were talking about decarbonizing energy sector and heat production sector. And I wonder whether this question was asked because you at EON Poland own nearly 600 kilometers of heat network. And how is it important to modernize the network in order to decarbonize the whole sector?
First of all, we are a small player in the Polish hemisphere with about, as you said, 600 kilometers and 30 cities that we supply. It's not the biggest cities that we supply. So the biggest one is Szczecin, but there are much smaller cities that we supply. Like Szklarzysko-Kamień, like Słubice, like Zgorzelec, Słubice, like Chojnice. So the main challenge is, I think, in the district heating sector of the mid-size and smaller cities. Mm-hmm. Poland has about 400 district heating companies and supply areas, and out of which only 20% or less than 20% are energy efficient. Okay. So decarbonization is not so much thing that you want to do because you want to decarbonize, but it's something that is pretty much forced to these district heating suppliers, because if they are not efficient, if they don't have an efficient grid fit for 55, by 2028 or latest 2030, then from 2030 onwards, they cannot connect new customers that need to be energy efficient. They have to admit any external supplier that has an efficient source into their grids. So there is quite a challenge to those mid-size and small-size district heating companies, which are the backbone of the district heating system in Poland. And they are to a large extent owned by municipalities. And thus, they do not have the funds to now heavily invest. Okay. So it is extremely important for the sector to stay an attractive source of heat. And I'll come to this in a second, why this is important, that these companies can survive. Mm-hmm. And that in particular their customer base doesn't dwindle, thus enforcing them to raise their tariffs into levels which are not affordable anymore for the customers of district heating systems.
And when you're talking about the grid, so it needs to be replaced or it needs to be changed somehow, modernized somehow to be zero efficient and fit for the future?
It needs to be upgraded, I would say.
Okay. Right.
It would be a waste of resource in Poland if we would now try to build a second district heating system, or if we try to just decentralize everything, because it's a value, this district heating system. And if we look to other countries in Europe, like Germany, they're now trying with their Wärmeenergieplan to connect new customers to the existing district heating grids. They try to expand the district heating grid because the German government recognized that to decarbonize the heating sector by just individual funding becomes too expensive and cannot be digested by the local craftsmanship, because there's not enough craftsmen to do all the heat pumps and the PV on the top and the battery in the basement. Okay. So the district heating with its concentrated power is a much better way to decarbonize the heating sector of a country in many cases than it is the individual solution alone. Mm-hmm. Sure, not in rural areas, but in cities and larger communities. UK is trying to now build a new district heating system. They don't have a district heating system. They have all electric heating in the country, and now they are trying to expand the district heating system. So you can see this district heating system in Poland, which is more than 40% of the population are receiving heat from district heating system, is a value.
Okay.
And why is this a value? We discussed just in the conference, because we will enter, and we are already entering into a world where the electric energy system is not stable anymore, meaning the source does not generate the electricity when the consumer needs the electricity, at least not in all cases. And as a consequence, we need a lot more storage capacity to transfer energy from times when there's an abundance of renewable energy, electrons from solar and wind, into times when there's a scarcity, particularly in dark, calm days in winter. This is difficult to do by electric batteries only, because electric batteries, you would need huge electric batteries and all new electric batteries.
Okay.
And there the district heating system is a wonderful storage, and it's already there. So why not try to store energy from times when there's an abundance of renewable energy into times when there is a need of energy? And as this is normally the wintertime, this is quite a strong, let's say, element in the modern new renewable-based energy system, as you are also building in Poland.
Yeah. And if we take a look at E.ON globally, because it's a huge company operating at many European markets, Germany, of course, UK, Scandinavia. So do you take your experience from Western countries and transfer it somehow to Poland? Are there any good examples that work in the Western countries and could be adopted here, for example?
I would say Poland is a super strong country in terms of its intelligence, in terms of its engineering base, in terms of the dedication of the people who work in the company. And there's little to add because you are really a nation of creative people, a nation that has that is open to new solutions, which is extremely important.
Okay.
But this is actually the only little thing that we maybe can contribute as an E.ON, apart from money to invest, is the knowledge from other areas in Europe where we have already implemented certain technologies, like, for instance, low energy district heating grids. We run a number of low energy district heating grids in Sweden, Germany, in the UK, called EKG. They run on 40 degrees. In summertime, it's getting cooler, the primary district heating grid, and in winter, it's getting a little bit higher in temperature. And then you have at each building a heat pump that boosts the energy either to higher temperature in winter or to lower temperature in summer when it's too hot.
Okay.
This system is something that has been built in Sweden. And that has been explored in Sweden and is now operational in Sweden. And this is where we send our Polish colleagues to study, to experiment, to learn how the system works, and then implement here in Poland. And the first EKG system, by the way, we have now started 2 years ago in Wastowia Island in Szczecin. So we principally use the knowledge of the group to boost our systems here in Poland. But it is to be added, it's not only this way, it's also the other way. For instance, we had a very upgraded and very sophisticated leakage control system in our Szczecin operation that is now used in Sweden. Okay. So the idea of this
so Swedish engineers were coming to Poland.
We're coming to Poland to learn. So in principle, we try to learn from each other in a way to make it better for the whole of the group and to contribute to the development of the countries in which we work.
Thank you very much for the conversation. Thank you for taking our invitation here, and wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you very much, Simon. It was a pleasure.
Dziękuję.